I never thought I'd be sharing this, but here goes. I'm Ethan, 32, and basically the ATM for my family. I work my butt off in finance while my sister Chloe gets everything handed to her on a silver platter. My parents, David and Susan, let's just say budgeting isn't their strong suit. They always come to me for help, which I usually give. It's expected, but I'm starting to think they see me as nothing more than a walking, talking bank. And I think I just found out how true that really is. You won't believe what happened. I was at their place for Sunday dinner, another family meal I was footing the bill for. Dad kept bragging about this amazing deal he got. Then Mom chimed in, beaming, "We finally upgraded the car." My stomach dropped to my knees. Upgrade on what? They can barely afford gas. What are you talking about? I asked, trying to keep my voice even. Dad pulled out his phone, flashing a picture of a brand new, top-of-the-line SUV. "Isn't she a beauty? All thanks to you, son." I felt the blood drain from my face. That money. The money I'd been sending them every month for groceries, bills, just to keep them afloat. They blew it on this. Before I could even process it, Mom patted my hand and said, "Don't look so shocked, sweetie. You're not our son, you're our ATM." A cold wave washed over me. My hands trembled so badly I had to set my phone down. "What?" I managed to choke out. Mom just laughed, a light, dismissive sound. "You're making a big deal out of nothing. We needed a reliable car." Needed or wanted after everything I've done for you. Is that how you really see me? Just some endless supply of cash, a tightness in my chest until I could barely breathe. What did she just say? An ATM. Is that really how they see me? It was like a punch to the gut. How long has this been going on? I'm starting to see a pattern here. A sick, twisted pattern. I called them the next day. "We need to talk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but a tremor ran through me. "About the car." "Oh, Ethan, relax," Dad chuckled. "It's just a car. Why are you bringing this up now?" Deflection. "Just a car." My heart pounded like a drum against my ribs. "I've been sacrificing everything, working overtime. And you use the money I send you for basic needs on a luxury SUV?" Mom sighed dramatically. "Don't be so dramatic, Ethan. You make so much money, we deserve a little comfort." My face burned with humiliation. Chloe piped up from the background. "Seriously, Ethan, it's not that big of a deal. You always complain about something." She always takes their side, always. "Not a big deal, I'm busting my ass while you two are living it up," I snapped, my voice rising. "Everyone has problems, Ethan, you're not special," Mom retorted. "False equivalence." "We're family, we should support each other," Dad added, layering on the guilt. "Support or exploit," the words hung in the air. Silence. Then Mom's voice, dripping with disappointment. "After all we've done for you." Did they really just say that? My throat closed up, words trapped inside. Shame washed over me. Was I overreacting? Maybe I was being selfish, but something felt different this time. This isn't right. A week later, my phone buzzed incessantly. Mom, again. I ignored it, shoving the device deeper into my pocket. Then Chloe called. "Ethan, seriously, pick up. Mom's really upset." "Upset? What about me?" "What do you want, Chloe?" "You need to come over, it's Dad's birthday. We're having a small family dinner." Small, knowing them, small meant a feast for 20. "I can't, Chloe, I have plans." A lie, but a necessary one. "Ethan, come on, don't be like that. Dad's really hurt that you haven't called." More guilt, I sighed. "Fine, I'll stop by for an hour." The air in their house felt thick with expectation. A banner reading "Happy Birthday, Dad" hung crookedly over the fireplace. The aroma of Mom's famous lasagna, which I was probably paying for, filled the air. "Ethan, there he is," Dad boomed, clapping me on the back a little too hard. "So glad you could make it." Mom rushed over, her eyes red-rimmed. "Oh, Ethan, we've missed you so much. You haven't been answering our calls." The room felt like it was closing in. Chloe gave me a sympathetic look, then subtly shook her head. "Here we go." Aunt Carol, Mom's sister and resident busybody, bustled in from the kitchen. "Ethan, so good to see you, dear. Your parents are so proud of you, you know, such a successful young man." Why was I still putting up with this? "We were just looking at baby pictures," Mom exclaimed, pulling out a dusty photo album. "Remember this, Ethan. You always loved playing with your toy cars." A flashback. I was 8, meticulously lining up my toy cars while Chloe got a brand new bike. And who paid for that new bike? My parents couldn't afford it. Speaking of cars, Aunt Carol began, winking at Dad. My stomach churned. Tension headache building behind my eyes. We're thinking of taking a little trip, Mom said, her voice carefully casual. Maybe to Florida. It would be so nice to get away. Another demand disguised as a suggestion. You know, Ethan, your father deserves a little relaxation, Aunt Carol added, giving me a pointed look. He's worked so hard his whole life. Heard that before. Remember when we took you to Disney World? Dad reminisced, flipping through the photo album. You were so happy. Guilt trip initiated. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. The past replayed like a broken record. School trips, new clothes, even Chloe's braces. I'd somehow been roped into helping cover them all. It's just, things have been a little tight lately, Mom continued, her voice laced with vulnerability. The car payments, the new SUV they didn't need. I opened my mouth to protest, to finally say no. But the words caught in my throat. A wave of dizziness washed over me. I actually can't stay long, I said, grabbing my coat. I have to get going, work stuff. But dinner's almost ready, Mom protested, her voice rising slightly. I already ate, I lied. You're always working, Ethan. You need to take some time for yourself, Aunt Carol scolded, wagging a finger at me. I know, I said, my voice flat. I'm working on it. Drive safe, Dad called as I headed for the door. As I reached the car, Chloe followed me outside. Ethan, can I talk to you for a sec? I really have to go, Chloe. I got in and started the engine, already feeling the familiar pull of their expectations trying to drag me back. I pulled out of the driveway, a small act of rebellion in a life defined by obligation. But it was a start. Hey, Marcus said, his voice warm and easy. Everything okay? You seem off. I hesitated, shifting in my seat at the bar. It's family stuff. He raised an eyebrow, the corner of his mouth twitching in a knowing smile. Ah, the dreaded family stuff spill. I swirled the ice in my drink, avoiding his gaze. It's stupid, really. I'm probably overreacting. Ethan, Marcus said, his voice firm but gentle. You know you can tell me anything, right? No judgment, promise. I took a deep breath. Okay. So my parents bought a new SUV, a really expensive one. I paused, waiting for his reaction. He just nodded, unfazed. Okay, and they used money I gave them. Money I thought was for, bills, groceries. I hated admitting it. Marcus's expression shifted. Wait, they used your money, the money you give them regularly? I nodded, shame burning in my cheeks. Yeah, and my mom, she said something awful. What did she say? I swallowed hard. She said, you're not our son, you're our ATM. The air hung heavy between us. Marcus stared at me, his eyes wide with disbelief. They said that seriously? Yeah, I mumbled, picking at the label on my beer bottle. That's Ethan, that's not normal family behavior at all. I know, right? Chloe thinks I'm overreacting. She always does. She's the golden child, remember? I gestured loosely. Marcus frowned. So let me get this straight. They're using your generosity to fund their lifestyle and then dismissing your feelings when you call them out on it. I nodded miserably. Pretty much. He shook his head slowly. Ethan, you realize that's manipulative, right? They're playing on your sense of obligation, guilting you into giving them money, and then making you feel bad for even questioning it. I know, I sighed. But they're my parents. So, if anyone else treated you that way, would you accept it? Would you let a friend, a coworker, or a stranger treat you like that? He leaned forward, his voice low and intense. You deserve to be treated with basic respect, Ethan, by everyone, especially your family. His words hit me hard. He was right. I wouldn't tolerate this from anyone else. So why was I accepting it from my family? I don't know, I stammered. I guess I'm just used to it. I thought that's just how families were. Marcus put a hand on my shoulder. No, Ethan, that's not how families should be. Families should be supportive, loving, and respectful, not parasitic. I stared at my drink, a dawning realization creeping into my mind. It was like a fog lifting, revealing the stark reality of my situation. I've been an enabler. They make me feel guilty for wanting to have my own life, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. That's because they're relying on your guilt to control you, Marcus said, his voice firm. They're not respecting your boundaries, your needs, or your feelings. They're only thinking about themselves. I thought about the new SUV, the Florida trip, the constant requests for money. It wasn't about love or support. It was about exploitation. This is a lot to take in, I said, feeling a wave of nausea wash over me. I know, Marcus said softly, but you're not alone in this, Ethan. I'm here for you. And you need to start prioritizing yourself. You've been taking care of everyone else for so long, it's time to take care of yourself. I met his gaze and saw genuine concern in his eyes. For the first time in a long time, I felt validated, understood. You're right, I said, my voice stronger now. I deserve better, I deserve respect. A new sense of clarity washed over me. I had a choice. I could continue down this path of endless obligation and resentment, or I could take control of my life. I'm done being their ATM, I declared, the words tasting like freedom. I'm done. The phone rang, unknown number. I almost ignored it, but a nagging feeling made me answer. Ethan, it's Mom. We need you to come over, it's an emergency. Her voice was frantic, laced with a familiar desperation that made my stomach clench. What's wrong? I asked, my voice wary. It's complicated, just get here as soon as you can. I hesitated, this had to be a trap, but I knew I wouldn't be able to rest until I knew what was going on. Fine, I'm on my way. The moment I walked through the door, I knew something was wrong. My parents were huddled together in the living room, their faces pale and drawn. Chloe was there too, looking equally distressed. What's going on? I demanded, my voice sharp. My mother wrung her hands, her eyes darting around the room. It's about the credit cards. Credit cards? I didn't have any credit cards. What credit cards? I asked, my voice dangerously low. My father shuffled his feet, avoiding my gaze. Well, you see, we needed a little help with some expenses and you what? I pressed, my heart pounding in my chest. You opened credit cards in my name. The silence that followed was deafening. Chloe gasped, her eyes wide with shock. You did what? My mother burst into tears. We didn't know what else to do. We were desperate, desperate. They were always desperate, but this was different. This was fraud. This was criminal. How many? I asked, my voice shaking with rage. How many credit cards did you open in my name? My father mumbled something unintelligible. How many? I roared, my voice echoing through the house. 3, he whispered, his voice barely audible. 3 credit cards, 3. 3 credit cards, racking up God knows how much debt. My debt, my future, stolen. Something inside me snapped. It was like a dam breaking, years of resentment and anger flooding to the surface. The room began to spin. I felt a cold, hard knot forming in my stomach. You did this, I managed to choke out, my voice trembling. My mother sobbed uncontrollably. We didn't mean to hurt you, Ethan. We just needed help. Help. They had never needed help. They needed a bottomless pit to throw their money into, and I was that pit. Until now. Suddenly everything was crystal clear. All the years of sacrifice, the constant demands, the blatant disrespect, it all coalesced into a single, blinding moment of clarity. My hands clenched into fists, my nails digging into my palms. I stood taller, my shoulders back, my gaze fixed on my parents. The fear was gone, replaced by a cold, burning rage. You're unbelievable, I said, my voice steady, devoid of emotion. I'm done. I turned and walked out of the house without another word. I knew with absolute certainty that I was finished. I would not allow them to manipulate me, to exploit me, to steal from me any longer. The weight of obligation that I had carried for so long lifted from my shoulders, replaced by a sense of grim determination. I had reached my breaking point. I would not forgive them. I would not forget. I will sue. Evidence stacked, bank statements, credit reports, everything screamed fraud. Lawyer Karpov confirmed it. Textbook case, Ethan, you've been exploited. He'd draft the demand. A therapist helped prep for the emotional storm. They'll guilt you, stand firm. Legal rights researched, responses rehearsed. They'll call me selfish. They'll say I owe them. No, I owe myself. Marcus met me. Ready? Almost, I replied, anxiety coiled in my stomach. What if they deny it? What if Chloe sides with them? They'll try to manipulate me, Marcus. I know you've got this. Remember, you're not responsible for their choices. You're protecting yourself. You're reclaiming your life. He handed me a grounding stone. Squeeze this, breathe. Thanks, I said, pocketing it, for everything. He clapped me on the shoulder. Go get 'em. I drove to their house. Each mile felt like an eternity. They'll be angry, defensive, hurt. I had to be stronger. Pulling up, I saw their car, the SUV. a symbol of their betrayal, one last breath, time to end this, no turning back. The living room was a stage set, Dad in his recliner, Mom on the sofa, Chloe perched beside her. Lamplight cast long shadows, trying for cozy. It failed. Tension crackled. Dad started, voice booming, "Ethan, what's this emergency call about? You had us worried sick." I pulled the envelope from my jacket. "This isn't a social call, it's a demand." My voice was flat. Mom's eyebrows shot up. "Demand? What are you talking about?" I held out the envelope. Dad waved it away. "Don't be ridiculous, just tell us what's bothering you." "The credit cards, Dad, the fraud, the lies," I stated, my voice unwavering. His face reddened. "What credit cards? We don't know what you're talking about." "Don't insult my intelligence." I tossed the envelope onto the coffee table. "The jig is up. Karpov's already filed the papers. You have 30 days, Chloe gasped. Mom paled, her hand flying to her chest. "Ethan, how could you?" Mom's voice dripped with betrayal. "We're your family. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't use each other as ATMs." I said, my voice laced with anger. "We needed the money." Dad roared, standing up, his face contorted with rage. "We've always been there for you. By bleeding me dry, by opening credit cards in my name, by treating me like a walking bank," I asked, my voice trembling. "Those tactics don't work on me anymore." Chloe finally spoke, her voice soft, pleading. "Ethan, please, don't do this. Think about Mom and Dad." "I have thought about them, Chloe, for 32 years. Now it's time to think about myself." I stated, my voice firm. Mom began to cry, tears streaming down her face. "You're breaking my heart, Ethan. How can you do this to your own mother? This isn't about the money or the credit cards, it's about control, and you've lost it," I said, my voice ringing with truth. "You ungrateful brat," Dad spat, his face purple with rage. "After everything we've done for you, you've taken, Dad, you've always taken, and I let you, no more." I said, meeting his gaze head on. Silence descended. I turned to leave. "Ethan, don't do this," Mom screamed, her voice cracking. I paused at the door, taking a deep breath. "This ends now. I'm not asking, I'm telling you." I walked out, leaving them standing there, shocked and defeated. Their power over me was broken. The door slammed shut. Freedom. The slam echoed in my ears, a finality I hadn't anticipated. My hands shook violently. I leaned against the car, chest heaving, the grounding stone digging into my palm. I felt numb. A hollow ache resonated in my chest, but beneath it, a nascent sense of liberation. The air tasted cleaner. I drove aimlessly for hours, ending up at the beach. The rhythmic crash of waves soothed the raw edges of my emotions. I replayed the scene in my head, their faces, their accusations, their disbelief. It was over. I was free. The phone started ringing. Mom, Dad, Chloe, Aunt Carol. I silenced it, a small act of defiance. I needed space. I needed silence. I needed to breathe. It's been 3 months since that day. The lawsuit is grinding forward. David and Susan are fighting it, claiming I gifted them the money. Karpov is confident, but the legal battle is only part of it. The fallout has been messy. Chloe initially sided with our parents, but after seeing the evidence, she's wavering. She calls occasionally, apologizing for not believing me sooner, but defending them too. It's complicated. Aunt Carol is spreading stories, painting me as a heartless monster. Extended family members are divided, some offering support, others echoing Carol's narrative. My parents haven't changed. They still try to call to guilt me. I blocked their numbers. One evening, Mom showed up at my apartment, pleading, sobbing, promising change. I shut the door. The hardest thing I've ever done. But there are positives. Marcus has been a rock, offering unwavering support and a safe space to vent. I started therapy, unpacking years of suppressed emotions and unhealthy patterns. I'm learning to set boundaries, to prioritize my own well-being. I'm sleeping better, eating healthier, and even started painting again, something I hadn't done since childhood. I reconnected with an old friend, Sarah, who always sensed the imbalance in my family. She understands the complexities, the guilt, the occasional moments of doubt. Having someone who validates my experience without judgment has been invaluable. There are days when I question everything. Am I being too harsh? Am I destroying my family? What if they really do change? But then I remember their words, their actions, the credit card debt, and the resolve returns. I'm not responsible for their choices. I am responsible for my own happiness. My parents remain in denial, convinced I'll eventually come crawling back, checkbook in hand. Chloe calls every few weeks trying to mediate, but I refuse. They need to take responsibility for their actions. I've learned that family isn't always blood. It's the people who support you, respect you, and love you unconditionally. I've learned that saying no is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. I've learned that healing takes time, and that it's okay to feel angry, sad, and confused. I'm still processing the trauma, but I'm no longer defined by it. I'm building a life based on my own values, my own dreams, my own terms. I feel lighter now, more confident, more at peace. The hollowness is slowly filling with self-respect and a newfound sense of purpose. The anxiety is still there, but it's manageable. So Reddit, has anyone else dealt with something similar? How do you handle the guilt and the family pressure? Any advice for navigating the extended family drama?